Hello, 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 and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hello and welcome, babes. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this video. And also, if you like things all pop culture, modern take on society, music, TV shows, movies, celebrities, or anything that's just going on in modern time today, please, babe, come join the family. This is what this channel is all about. We are here to entertain, have really good discussions about all these topics I'm making videos about. So if those interest you, then please come subscribe and join the family. If this is not your first time, welcome back to the channel. New video, new video. So, as you can see by the title today, we are doing Mean Girls 2024. I went against my better judgment and I decided to watch this even after I said so many times, I am not going to watch it. I remember watching the trailer and thinking to myself, why? Like, why? And even though I'm not going to really discuss it too much in this video, I may make a separate video if you want about why Hollywood decides that they want to bank on nostalgia and doing remakes on every single thing. Like, why? We don't need remakes for every single thing. Like, let some things just be iconic and stay where they at. What happened to originality? What happened to being unique and taking risks? But I digress. This is not that kind of video. So I'm a 90s baby, which means I saw the iconic and legendary 2004 version of Mean Girls. And I don't know, my opinion may be biased, but I did go into watching this movie with an open mind and just trying to see it and watch it for what it is. But I'm not going to hold you. I could not help but to see and be like comparing both the 2004 version to the 2024 version and just seeing what they tried to do, I guess the modern take on the 2004 version. So if you don't know, Tina Fey read the books about the Mean Girls. It wasn't called Mean Girls. I don't know exactly what it's called. So if you do know, girl, hook me up and let me know in the comments. But basically, Tina Fey read these books and she decided to do an adaptation on the books, but kind of make it her own version, which gave us the iconic and legendary 2004 version. And then because that was so popular, a whole bunch of Broadways and musicals came out with their own version of the Mean Girls, which included these songs and everything, and included the same characters and all that. So the 2024 version is basically the 2004. It's like a parody of the 2004 mixed with the Broadway versions of the Mean Girls. So that's what you get. That's basically what the 2024 version. So we can end this video. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, in this video, I am going to be discussing the movie itself, my thoughts and opinions. We'll be discussing the characters, the costumes, the songs, and just overall, just everything about the movie, the reviews, how people have been taking it, and just all that. So if that interests you, then stay tuned. Okay, now we're on to the characters, and I want to talk about the first plastic, Miss Karen Shetty. I loved Karen in this movie. I mean, she was so cute to me, and I love her ditzy ways. She was definitely one of my favorites. Damien's my favorite character from the movie, and she's a definite close second. I loved how witty she was. I loved her one-liners. She was funny. She came in the scenes and did what she had to do, left her mark. And I loved her little Halloween song, Sexy. Like, I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about it, but personally, I liked it. I thought it was very cute. I even loved her little dance break. Like, I loved it. Maybe it's because I love Avantika. I may be destroying her name. But, yeah, I don't know. I loved her. Thought she was gorgeous. And I don't know. I think she just made sense. Like, Karen in the 2004 version, she was very sweet, witty, little slow, but you could just tell she was very kind and she was a good person, even though she was part of the Mean Girl clique. And I got the same version of the 2024 Karen. Like, she gave off the same vibe, just on a modern take, on a modern twist. She cracked me up, and she was just definitely one of my faves. I loved her, and I can't wait to see her in more movies. And yeah, that's it on my fave. Okay, now let's talk about Gretchen Wieners. I don't even know if that's her name in the 2024 adaptation because I know they changed the last names. But if you don't know, because they're trying to do the whole diversity thing, this Gretchen in this movie was Latina. If you can pick up on her constantly saying "mama," "papi," "mama," like she kept doing that throughout the movie. But my opinion on Miss Gretchen in this movie was I didn't really think too much of her. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not too much on the actress. She just did the best she could and she just, was going by the script and just by the writing of the movie, but you couldn't really relate to her. You couldn't really resonate with her. See, the first Gretchen in the 2004 version, even though she was very, anxious and she wanted to impress Regina so much, there was something about her that was a little bit like you wanted to root for her. You wanted to kind of see her win in some capacity. And she was just something intriguing about her. Like, even though she was a minion to Regina, you still was intrigued by her. Like, there was just something captivating about that Gretchen. She was funny, she was witty, she was smart, she knew everyone's business, as they say. And this Gretchen, I don't know, she just missed the mark for me. She was just kind of there. She didn't really do much. She didn't leave a she didn't really do much for me, honestly. That's no shade to the actress herself, but I just personally feel like they could have just picked someone else or just kept the Gretchen character out of it because she didn't really do anything. She was just there, did her lines, and went home. Okay, on to Miss Regina George herself, played on Broadway and in a 2024 adaptation, Miss Renee Rapp. I knew who Renee Rapp was before this movie. I knew her from The Sex Life of College Girls, which is on HBO. And if you haven't seen that show, I really highly suggest you watch it. It is comical and funny and just, we need more college shows. Like, I feel like the whole high school thing, it's cool, I get it, but like really let's grow up here. Let's grow up. But if you haven't watched that show, I highly recommend it. And what's funny about it is Renee Rapp basically plays the same character she does on the show in the movie. So even though she's playing Regina George in the movie, her character on The Sex Life of College Girls name is Leighton. And they're basically the same person. This rich, blonde, mean girl who basically, to some degree, is kind of running things, but not really, not necessarily. Leighton is a little bit more nicer, a little bit more humble, and just, more human-like, more than Regina in the 2024 movie. And it's just interesting. I feel like she's kind of typecasted in those roles, in those kind of roles specifically. But let's talk about her as Regina George in the 2024 adaptation. I think it made sense why they chose her to be Regina George. She's a pretty girl. She's blonde. She gives off rich energy. And I mean, I get it. Her vibe is of a mean girl, popular girl aesthetic. I know that she got a lot of flack from when the trailer dropped. People were talking about Renee's weight and how she wasn't pretty and how she's not like Rachel McAdams and stuff like that. And basically just comparing her to Rachel. And I can understand why they were, besides the body shaming. I thought that was stupid. I mean, you can't control your body weight. She's a grown woman and she has grown woman weight. Like, what do you expect? Anyway, but yeah, they were critiquing her even before the movie came out because of her playing Regina George. Personally, I don't think she was a bad Regina George, but I don't think she was that great. I don't feel like connected to her character. Kind of like the Gretchen character, I didn't feel connected to Regina. And what makes Regina George so iconic, especially in the 2004 adaptation, is she was charismatic, she was smart, she was conniving, she was manipulative, but she knew how to work it though. Like, she knew how to make you feel wanted. She knew how to make you feel seen, which is why people gravitated towards her. She also had a mystery about her. So she played nice nasty. Like, she knew how to be nice on the surface, but deep down, we all knew, I knew it. She was too good to be true. And we saw that in certain moments in the movie, like the Halloween party when she talked to Aaron, when she told that girl she liked the skirt and really lied, when she told the story about Janice. Like, there were different things that would show, but she was so charismatic that you just loved her. She was iconic. She set trends and she just didn't care. She had a confidence and an aura about her that just made her so intriguing and unforgettable. Renee's take on Regina, I don't know, it kind of felt forced. It felt like a parody. And she was just mean, just to be mean. Like, it wasn't even like a nice, nasty. She wasn't charismatic at all. She wasn't friendly to any degree. She just seemed irritated and agitated all the time. She seemed like she hated everyone and didn't like a single person. And it was just weird. Like, she lacked chemistry with a lot of the people she was involved with, like the other plastics, Aaron. Like, it was weird. I don't know. I love Renee Rapp. I think she is a great actress, but she just kind of missed the mark for me when it came to playing Regina, me personally. I just feel like look-wise, kind of, sort of. Obviously, she had the vocal chops for this movie, but overall, she just didn't do it for me as Regina. Okay, now it's time to talk about my favorite character and the main star of this movie, Damien, or as he liked to call himself, Beyonce, in the movie. He was just the best part of this movie. He was funny, he was witty, he was entertaining. Every time he came on the screen, he gave it his all. Granted, I know some of the things he said was, I guess you could say, an homage to the first Damien of the 2004 version. And, obviously due to the writing being cringy, there were some cringe moments. But overall, he just felt like the best character of the movie. I mean, by far. And baby, the vocals that this man got, oh my God. Him, Renee, and Miss Moana, they killed the movie as far as vocals go, okay? He was just extremely funny to me personally. He just felt like he belonged in both the 2024 and the 2004 version. I feel like he did a really good job portraying Damien. He was, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I said everything I need to say. He was just funny. He was entertaining. He kept me engaged in the movie more so than anyone else. And he and Karen were basically my favorites. Okay, Miss Moana herself, Miss Janice Ian. I don't know really what to say about this Janice. I had mixed feelings about her. Like, a part of me was rooting for her, and I was excited to see her standing on business and basically holding people accountable and letting people know what's up. But I also kind of found her annoying too. I found some of her music numbers annoying, but she was killing the vocals. I have to give her tens. Any song that her and Damien were on, they killed it. I loved it. I love the Apex Predator song that they were on. They just did what they needed to do. And yeah, I don't know really what to say about Janice. Like, again, I didn't really resonate with her character. Like, a part of me understood a lot of her frustration and why she was the way she was. But also I also felt like there were moments where she was just kind of just being out there just to be out there. And what I mean by that is, like, there are moments in the movie that kind of felt like they were forcing her character to just, I guess, be super modern, like the modern version of Janice where the Janice in the 2004 version, she was more chill, she was more calculated, and she was more low-key about her stuff. Like, she wasn't too much out there and trying to be in everyone's face about it. She was just like, I'm going to get my revenge when it's time. But right now, I'm going to just have Caddy do my dirty work. And I like that. I like how she did that. I like how she initiated that. Whereas this version of Janice, I just feel like, yeah, there are just moments where I just like, I'm checking out. I'm mentally checking out of her character in this movie. But she was very pretty. The actress herself is very pretty, very talented. I mean, she is Miss Moana, iconic, hello, legendary. And the voice was giving. When it's time to talk about the musical portion of this movie, just know I'm going to give baby girl her tens. Okay, let's start talking about the characters I can really care less about and did not care for. It's funny, this girl was supposed to be the main character of this movie, but she was the least favorite and least main character of this movie, Miss Katie Heron herself. I know that the actress herself is getting a lot of flack and a lot of critiques and criticism of her portrayal in Mean Girls. So let me just start off by saying I think it's not easy, and I give her nothing but props and salute for just putting herself out there. With that being said, I have to keep it a buck and be honest. They did not cast Katie correctly. They just didn't. I mean, before I get into the 2024 version of Katie, let's just talk about what made Katie Heron so iconic and what made Lindsay Lohan the icon she is, especially from this movie. So Katie Heron in the first movie was iconic because even though she was naive, she never been to school before, she never really experienced modern day people and like girls and friendships and problems and boys. Her naivety was interesting because not only did we get her inner thoughts and her inner monologue so we understood and we could gravitate and navigate with her along the movie, but she was just intriguing to watch due to the fact that even though she didn't know much about the girl world and the real world, she was interested in learning and she adapted. But most importantly, she was likable in this movie, or not the 2024 version. I'm obviously talking about the original, but she was likable. Like, we wanted to root for Katie. Even when she did things that we did not agree with, we still wanted to root for her. Like, we saw something in her that said, she's not a bad person. She clearly wants to be Regina, but I mean, she could never. But really, we like her because you could tell deep down she's a sweetheart and she's just trying to fit in. Like most people, she just wants to fit in. She just wants to be a part of something, have a community, and she wants to fit in. So, you know, when I think about the 2024 version, I think the reason it didn't work out for the actress, I don't remember her name, but she wasn't likable. Like, she was just very mean. She just didn't have any personality at all. She was boring. She just was there, and she was super obsessed with Aaron. Here's the thing. I know that Katie in the 2004 version was very intrigued and interested in Aaron Samuels in the first movie, which makes sense because he was very attractive. Hello. But she wasn't obsessed with him. She was mainly obsessed with kind of being like Regina, also trying to destroy her while also trying to make Aaron like her, which is why it worked, because it wasn't just solely like, I only want Aaron and I'm doing everything for Aaron. It wasn't like that. It was like, I want these girls to like me. I don't like Regina, but I also want her to like me while I'm also trying to become her. And because I'm trying to become her, I want Aaron to like me because, you know, I'm trying to become Regina, who he dated. So hopefully he would, but he didn't. Anyway, I'm I'm rambling. My point being is that the Katie in the 2004 version was just much better than the 2024 version, obviously. The Katie in the 2024 version, she was just so obsessed with Aaron. Like, her whole plot, her whole demeanor, her whole trajectory was Aaron Samuels. Like, the only reason she did anything was because of Aaron. Like, it didn't make sense to me. It's like, you could be attracted to a guy, and I know you came from Africa and you're not used to seeing people like him, but it's like, at the same time, girl, everything shouldn't just be regarding Aaron. And it's funny because throughout the movie, you could just, she was just weird. I don't know. Again, this is no shade to the actress. I'm pretty sure she was just following the director's demands and instructions and going off of the writing and the script of the movie. But her portrayal of Katie, it was very lackluster. It was very boring. This is just, I was disengaging every time she was on screen. I don't know. She just didn't do it for me. I'm just be honest. She just did not do it for me. I don't know if the actress has been in any other movie, so I can't say she's a good actress or not. But yeah, she just wasn't likable. I think that was the main thing. She wasn't likable. She didn't have a personality, and she just was obsessed with Aaron. And yeah, she just didn't do it for me. So, all right, last but not least, and I don't mean that in a good way. Since we were talking about Aaron, let's talk about the 2024 version of Aaron. So I don't know the actual actor's name, but I know that he's a pretty popular actor due to the fact that he was in that show, To All the Boys I Love. No, that's wrong. The Summer I Turned Pretty. There we go. I think he played Conrad. I didn't watch the show. I've seen like different clips and stuff, and it just looked very cheesy and corny, and I don't know, similar to Renee Rapp. He just seems like he plays the same character. Just, he's there. I guess he's supposed to be like the pretty boy, the popular boy who's like mysterious, and all he does is pout. Just make that pout face, you know, with the blue eyes staring intently into your soul, like that. And I don't know. I don't know him to say he's a good actor or not. I understand, similar to like all the other actors in this movie, He was just doing what the script told him to do and doing what the director instructed. But he didn't do it for me either. For one, he was very cringy. I mean, Katie was too. The actress who played Katie, they're both very cringy in a sense, but he was very cringy. Like, even the scene of him first meeting Katie, he turns around and looks at her and he's like, "Are you trying to make us all look bad?" Like, and that long gaze of him staring into our soul for like 2 minutes straight. I was just like, ugh, oh my God. And I already know the only reason they hired him was because he was pretty popular from the show, The Summer I Turned Pretty. That's literally the only reason they hired him. I feel like they could have chose anyone else to play him, to play Aaron, but they just chose him. He didn't really do anything or do too much for me personally. Like, he was boring as well. And yeah, it's not really much to say about him. He was just there. He didn't do anything. He just stood there and pouted and made faces and looked back in his chair, stared into our soul. That was it. Yeah. I don't know. It's funny that Tina Fey was over both movies, and somehow she just made the characters in this movie very boring, very bland, one note, very flat. And it's upsetting because it's like, you made such an iconic film. Why did you want to remake it? Money, I'm assuming. But really, if you're going to redo it, why make them so bland and boring? But that's for the characters. On to the musical and the songs. Okay, let's talk about the musical portions and the music in this movie. First off, even though the movie itself was just cringy as hell, I have to give the movie their 10s. I mean, granted, I'm not really big on musicals. Like, they're hit or miss for me. Like, some movie musicals are okay. Like, I enjoy Hairspray. There are some iconic songs in that movie, and the movie itself is just iconic. This movie, due to it just being about the Mean Girls, I mean, personally, I don't feel like it should have been a musical, because it's like, why? Just why? But really, the music in this, it just wasn't memorable. But like I said, I have to give the movie its 10. So some of the scenes, the musical scenes, were very colorful and just very appealing to watch. The cinematography was great. Like, I don't know what song it was, but it was basically a Janice and Damien song when they had like the confetti and everyone in the halls doing the most, and it was super colorful. It's probably the most colorful scene in the entire movie. I like that. I thought it was super cool. It was just super fun to watch, along with Someone Gets Hurt or Somebody Gets Hurt by Renee Rapp. That was my favorite song in the movie, by the way. That was a very iconic song. Her vocals were on point, okay? And I loved the whole scene of her performing that song. Them being at the party, the lights being like a blue, like a dim, dark, cool blue, and everyone's frozen. Like, I just love it. The cinematography and how they perform the songs. Gotta give them their 10s. Only to Renee, Janice, and Damien. That's the only people. And Avantika, the one who sings Sexy at the Halloween party. That was another song I like, by the way. Gotta give her 10s. She wasn't the best singer, but I loved her song. I loved how she did it. And I just thought it was cute. And I just think she's adorable and cute. And she just did what she had to do. But yeah, when I think about the musicals in the movie, it's just a handful of them that I thought the cinematography, the colors, and just how the song and the scene played together were very well. Like, Apex Predator was pretty cool. Someone Gets Hurt. The song I mentioned, how they were in the hallway and all that confetti. I don't know what song that was, but I really enjoyed watching it. Now, overall, the songs were not memorable at all. Besides the one I just mentioned, most of the songs are not memorable, and most of the songs I did not like. Janice, Miss Moana, Damien, and Renee deserve all their 10s. They did a hell of a job singing and making this musical movie something and worth watching. You know, they did what they had to do. At the end of the day, they were very entertaining, and their voices were meant to just be heard, okay? And I just have to give them their 10s. Katie's songs were so boring, so flat, so dull, and so dry. Again, no offense to the actress, but she just, I don't know, she was miscast for me. Besides her acting, the singing and musical ability just wasn't there for me. All her musical scenes were very cringe and awkward, and I don't know if that was intentional, but it was just like, it just wasn't there. I don't know what they saw in her that made her be like Katie Heron, but yeah. The girl who played Gretchen, I forgot that one song she did in Regina's Closet, but it wasn't that memorable to me. I just remember because I saw a picture just now, but I don't remember the song. I don't even remember what it's called. It wasn't that entertaining, and her voice was okay. I mean, the actress herself, she was okay. Gretchen was okay. Who else? Yeah, even though I just gave Janice her 10s, there are some songs I could care less for that she performed. Like, you know, I didn't really care for them. Not saying her vocals weren't on point, but I could care less. But overall, the music, the musical, it was, I'll give it a 50-50. Some of it I liked and I really enjoyed, and some of it we could have just done without, to be honest. Okay, let's talk about the costumes and the makeup in this movie. Ugh. I mean, it's one thing to talk about the movie itself, which I'm going to get to, but the costumes were terrible. I'm sorry. We just got to call a spade a spade. The costumes were terrible, and I hated everyone's look. Like, it's just, oh my God. Like, Karen, Damien were okay, and that's not even because they're my favorites in the movie. Genuinely, they were just okay. Like, Karen's outfits were kind of cute. They weren't all the way cute, but they were kind of cute. They were cute enough for Karen's character, if that makes sense. And Damien, I mean, it's not like his costumes were, it wasn't like his costumes were like outstanding or stand out. They just fit him, if that makes sense. They were just very fitting of his character. Janice was okay. I feel like it was kind of weird with her character, because you could definitely tell they tried to modernize her character so much and make her seem edgy with the makeup and the outfits and stuff. But I don't know. It's like what made Janice stand out in the original was she didn't care. She intentionally went out her way to not try to look a certain type of way. That's what made her so iconic. She just did what she wanted to do. In this movie, it felt like they forced a lot of stuff on her character, like the makeup and stuff, especially when they had the red yarn. I'm not saying that wasn't a look. Like, it was a look, and I love the creativity behind it, but a lot of her stuff felt forced, if I'm being honest. Regina's outfit. So I know that Regina, or Renee, is not the slimmest, skinniest girl. She has a little weight on her, which is okay. She looks amazing. But I feel like they did not fit her clothing well to her body. Like, I feel like your clothing they have to fit it well with your body for it to look good. For me, it felt like Regina just blended in with everyone. It didn't give rich, it didn't give iconic, it didn't give popular girl. It just felt like she blended in. I hated all her looks. I did, except the one that she performed at the Halloween party. I forgot which look that was, but she had like an angel look. That was cute. And I kind of liked the black leather look, just kind of. But Katie's looks were terrible. They were complete and utter trash. Her and Gretchen's outfits were just trash. But Katie's were really bad. First off, in the original, yes, Katie came to America and she dressed it like a truck driver, but eventually she started looking more feminine and girly. They made the transition from Katie in the 2024 version from truck driver to girly as her putting on a blue sweater with some black skirt and combat boots. Why? Like, why? And I guess that was her transition from being the girl who no one knew to the next Regina George. And I'm like, it didn't even give what it was supposed to give, baby. It wasn't iconic. I don't know what y'all thought this was given, but it wasn't given that. But I hated the costumes. I hated the makeup. I hated a lot of it. Like, I just felt like, really, why? And it's funny because I read an article basically saying that they didn't want their looks to be like a Gossip Girl or a Euphoria, which is crazy to me because say what you want about those two shows, but they're iconic because of their looks. Blair Waldorf and Serena van der Woodsen, their looks were giving in Gossip Girl. You can't deny it. Even in today's time, it gives that. It gives that in today's time. And that came out in, 2007? And as far as Euphoria goes, clearly I took some inspiration for Euphoria when it came to the makeup, because that wasn't just normal makeup. That was almost Euphoria or euphoric type makeup. But as far as the looks go on Euphoria, granted, no real high school student would wear what Maddie or Cassie or Jules would wear, but what made them so iconic and just memorable were it fit their personalities, it fit their character. Maddie is a baddie, okay? She's a popular girl, she's confident, and she beats to the beat of her own drum, and her looks reflect that. She was well put together. Jules was unique, she was interesting, and she was outside of the box. And that's what made her look so memorable. She looked like an anime character. Who else? Cassie was very feminine and girly and soft. And that's what reflected on her character. And Kat went through a transition. You could see Kat being more, the nerdy to herself. And then that transition to her finding her confidence and changing the way she looks and her outfits and her makeup and just her overall look. That's what a transformation and a transition looks like. That's what they could have took notes from Euphoria instead of doing what they did, because the outfits were not giving. The reason they're so iconic in the 2004 version is because it matched the girls. It matched their personalities. You could see the transition from Katie being the girl who no one knew to the next Regina George. You could see the personality in Janice's outfit. You could see Regina, even though her clothes look like things that people wear today, you could tell that they were expensive. You could tell that she had money. You could tell that she did not look like everyone else, and everyone wanted to be like her, and Gretchen and Karen. So the outfits were just, oh my God, they were so tragic, and it's just sad. The whole movie itself just was tragic. Speaking of, let me just give my thoughts on the movie overall. All right, so now my overall thoughts on the movie. Me personally, this movie was okay. Like, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen, but it just wasn't that good either. Like, it was very corny, very cliche, very forced. It's like, did we really need a modernized version of the 2004 version of Mean Girls? Like, what makes that version so iconic and memorable today in pop culture was because even though it came out in 2004, it can still be used in today's time. Like, it didn't feel aged. Like, it didn't feel like it came out in 2004. It was edgy. It went there. It was funny. The jokes were hitting. Everyone, the acting was good. Like, it was just different. Like, you can just tell, you could just tell that it can fit in today's time, which cannot be said about the version that came out in this year. Like, this year's version felt very aged. Like, it felt like, you saw it. They added a whole bunch of TikToks in it and stuff. Like, it aged the movie, and it didn't need that. And then another thing that annoyed me was they kept repeating the jokes. The Fetch joke, the Kevin G and his jokes. Like, he was very cringy and annoying and just not funny at all. Even the gym teacher and his jokes. He had one joke that I'll give tens to. It was the horrible joke, and he spelled it like horror. Like, that was funny. Overall, the jokes were terrible. They kept trying to force it. And as much as I love the Damien character, they kept forcing, oh, she don't even go here. Like, as iconic as that line is, did we really need to hear it twice? Like, really, did we need to hear it twice? And I don't know. It's crazy to me because Tina Fey created both movies. And as iconic as the first one was, why did she do this one? It did not make sense. The entire movie felt like an SNL sketch, like a very prolonged, drawn-out SNL sketch that we did not need to see. They could have kept it in the drafts. They could have kept it in the files. Overall, this movie just, it was okay. I don't recommend anyone should watch it. It's not, you could just watch all the YouTube videos about it and you're practically watch the entire movie. It's not worth watching. Hollywood needs to grow up and grow a pair and just create original movies and take a risk and stop trying to do redos and remakes. It's just like, for what? What is the point? We don't need it. We love nostalgia, but not that much, because even when y'all do remakes, they're terrible. They're trash. Every once in a blue moon they hit, but really they are trash, just like this movie. Yeah, I said all I need to say. The actors, they were okay. Honestly, they get like a 5 out of 10 for me. The cinematography in the movie, 5.5 out of 10. The music in the movie, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. Outfits, 3. probably -3 out of 10. And just the overall movie itself, a 4 out of 10, a strong 4. It just wasn't it. We could have kept this in the draft. We could have kept this in the files, personally. But thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and let me know what you want to see, which movie, TV show, music, or just any topic you want me to discuss next. Bye.